kind of got to cover this fucking guy. Fox Business had a guy on called the Cow Guy to talk about F-150 production and I don't know. It just says major blow dealt to Biden's energy policy, according to the Cow Guy. A true expert. I have no idea. I've never heard of this fucker. But it's Fox Business. It's anything. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just Maria Bartiromo without any makeup or a wig.
Ford has just announced that they are cutting their electric F-150 production in half over the next year. Scott Shellady joins me now. This is a real blow to Biden's green energy policy,
No, because it's still too expensive, and again, the F-150. The reason they're doing this is they're shifting it to more commuter vehicles because that's the main audience for electric cars right now. Electric trucks will be a thing, but the kind of folks that buy F-150s are the exact opposite audience. That's why they're doing it. I mean, it was cool. It's smart of them to do it in the first place as to get it up and running, but the production of it will be hit and miss for a while because it's aimed at the wrong audience. I think the classic win is in electric cars, go back to designs from the 60s and release a classic Mustang that looks exactly like a classic Mustang, but is an EV. That kind of shit would be amazing. Very little modifications to the design and the lines and turn it into an electric vehicle.
isn't it, Scott?
Of course it is. And the Biden green energy policy is garbage.
What the ever-loving fuck?
Bottom line,
it's garbage, says this guy.
This is a farce that's been foisted upon the American public.
It's a farce that's been foisted upon. Some people say hoist, but not the Cow Guy. He says foist.
And Europe.
Which is better than being last.
Europeans and Asia, everybody involved that has been put under this mandate that we're going to have to do it. And as you said just a second ago, Stuart, a lot of these mandates have been pushed off. Let the next president worry about it or the next prime minister worry about it. It's a farce. Now, let me just say, number one, where I came from.
A cow's backside? Where are you going, I think, is like, just so I could avoid that party.
When you talk about subsidies, which is basically government money to try to change your behavior and your spending patterns.
Or to support things that people want to do but are too expensive because it's a new technology. We subsidized all the gas stations in the entire fucking country.
Where I came from, that's
an Easter egg painting contest where they keep telling you have to be 500 yards away because there's too many children present.
Called a bribe, okay? A bribe.
Yes, subsidies are bribes. Cool. Tell that to the oil companies. Really? So we've been bribing oil companies since 1909.
And they're trying to bribe Americans to get behind these electric vehicles. They've done it to the car makers because the subsidies when it comes to making those cars is about $50,000 all in. And so now, even with these bribes...
So why aren't they giving them away for free?
/subsidies. These things are still staying around the lots like you've reported, between 12 and 18 months. Nobody's buying them. So Americans are voting with their feet. Now, I'll finish up with this. It's not...
They're also $80,000 to $150,000 for an F-150.
That hard to understand. Common sense isn't that common anymore.
Well, clearly. Obviously, it's not on your shopping list.
But back in the day,
common sense would lead you to dress like you're a carton of milk that's been left out on the counter in the sun for a very long time.
When we had guys getting off of horses and getting into cars.
Is that how it works?
For the first time.
For the first time, yeah. It was weird. The guy kept trying to put oats into the grill and walking around behind the car with a broom.
How many subsidies /bribes did you see going on back then?
Lots.
None. It was just a better idea.
No, it wasn't. The fuck are you talking about? Range anxiety stopped the development of the car industry for a very long time. The U.S. government subsidized every fucking gas station in the goddamn country.
They haven't made the
What do you think the highway bill was, you asshole?
sale to the American people, so they're just not going to do it. So when they try to shove something down your throat, I mean, how many people flew into the COP conference you're talking about in electric jets? Really? I mean, so that's the world we're living in.
No, they pay carbon. They pay for carbon offsets.
And now Thomas Sowell says it best: we're abandoning things that works for things that sound better, and they're not working.
Now, in this CPI.
By the way, the same thing was said about solid state computers versus like compact computers, like tape based systems were the rage, and then you switch over to remember the big like floppy disk issue when they went from being the son of soft five and a quarter or five whatever they were 525s. And then you go to the little plastic discs. I think I have some around here someplace. Do I? Where would they be, you rat? When they first came out, you were going, you son of a bitch. Where are you? I moved them, didn't I? God damn it. So, you guys know what I'm talking about. The when it went from discs this big to the ones that were this big, the 3.5 inch, yeah. And it was like, Jesus Christ, I was like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And everybody had to convert to it, and it was slow going and all this shit. And then zip drives came along and all that kind of shit. Like, for fuck's sake.
I report this morning, investors seem to be concerned about the rise in the core rate of inflation.
Yeah, do they?
Okay, of 3.1%, that's
year over year.
Year over year. But if you look at the core, inflation actually went up. Have I got that right, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a worry, and that's...
It's going to be a worry. I tell you what, if it's going to be a worry, I got enough to worry about. When it starts to become a worry, you let us know, then we'll start worrying when it's done gonna be in.
It's going to be a blow, I think, to all those folks out there that think we're going to get rate cuts. Stuart, we got rate hikes to try to calm inflation, and inflation's not going down. It's just going up at a slower pace, right? Remember?
That's how it works, fuckhead. That's what a soft landing is about.
Remember what I said last week?
Yes, what'd you say last week? That the Dow was going to crash?
If I'm gaining weight this year, but not as much as I gained last year, am I getting thinner? No. That's what the...
Yes, you are. Because you are moving more, and at some point, you will reach escape velocity with your activity and your caloric intake. If you're gaining weight all the time, and then the gaining weight slows, then whatever you're doing, whether it's diet or exercise, neither of which looks like there's enough, whatever, then yes, you have made progress.
The media is trying to tell you, you're just getting a little bit fatter, but at a slower pace, right? So that's inflation for you summed up. And that's the
that's an idiotic summation.
Case that we're seeing now. If they think about cutting rates in that environment, Stuart, that's only going to start to reignite inflation, number one.
Jesus Christ. So if rates go up, it's terrible. If rates come down, it's terrible. Cool.
Number two, we've got the Fed funds rate at that range of 5.25 to 5.5 right now. We went back here and did a study back to 1971, Stuart, the 50-year average.
Oh, this motherfucker's going to bring up equations that don't involve us going through a pandemic and shortening supply chains, isn't he?
On that Fed funds rate, it's 5.42%. We're right in the middle of it. So this might be normal for longer, not higher for longer.
Oh, that's a good explanation.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, because it has nothing to do with monetary policy, you twit. It's supply shock. We went through COVID. Oh, God. It's so aggravating.
Scott Shellady, you're all right. And I know we'll see you again soon.
Well, we certainly can't miss him.
Thanks so much, man.
This is great. This is great. So yeah, so that's the current state of quality at Fox. Now,